For 3 years, I made my living doing singing telegrams. And you may not know this, but the #1 day in the singing telegram business, the day that you make more money than any other day, is Valentine's Day. So for Valentine's Day, I would do one of two things working for the singing telegram company. I would wear a tuxedo and deliver a singing telegram with balloons, or I was dressed in a Cupid outfit. Pink tights with a low cut right here, an adult diaper, chiffon wings, and a small bow and arrow that didn't work. And then, of course, the balloons or the flowers. And being that it was Valentine's Day, there was a lot more call for the Cupid than there was this tuxedo. This was like over 25 years ago, so when I wore the tuxedo, I looked good in it. I never looked good in the Cupid outfit. I'm a little hirsute, so, you know, I'd have this chest hair coming out underneath the cut of the pink. And because it was pink tights, some of my chest hairs would pop through. I would drive from singing telegram to singing telegram in my car, and I'd have like a trench coat on top of it so that nobody would see me driving in a Cupid's outfit. And then when I would get out, I would have to take off the coat, then put on the wings, unfold them because they got unfolded, and then go sing to somebody. It's weird to think about that 25 years ago or so, people communicated so much of their love through singing telegrams. I'm not quite sure why that was a thing. I'm glad it's not anymore. So I would sit there and do these singing telegrams dressed as Cupid, and Chicago had a strong reaction to it. But most of the time I was, there was two of us who worked for the company, a woman and me, and the woman did most of the singing telegrams for men, and I did most of the singing telegrams for women, because it was a different time period, and, everything was much more binary then. And I was given a call by the company, and they said, we want you to do this extra one, because she is so busy she can't get to it. Can you go do it? I'm like, great, more money for me, I'll go do it. So they give me the address, and I show up, and it's a garage. It's a mechanic garage filled with all men. And like the photos where you see a woman holding a wrench. And I walk in a Cupid's outfit. And there's only men there. And I walk in, and they all stop. And they look up at me. And I put on like a Southside Chicago accent. Hey, yo, we're talking, I got a singing telegram for you. I did everything except grab my Cupid crotch. And the guy who was behind the counter, he's like, And I'm like, hey, if you don't want it, I've got to sing, I can just give you the balloons, it'd be fine. He goes, yeah, that'd be good. And I handed the balloons and I left. People use singing telegrams also in other ways. One time I was hired to ask a woman to get married to a man. Tuxedo, not Cupid. And he gave me this whole thing to read to her and the ring to present to her. And I'm at their office because he works with her. And I'm thinking, if this doesn't go well, is it my fault if she says no? And I'm reading this thing, and everything is all pronouns like, I love you, you are the love of my life. I'm like, I can't fucking say this. So I changed the pronouns to make it more for like him. And it's in the script that I have to get down on my knee and say, will you marry me? So instead I got down on my knee and said, will you marry him? And he's in the back, jumping up and down. He's so happy. A friend of his is videotaping it. She said yes, and all I thought was, thank fucking God. Now there was another time that I went to another office in a tuxedo, and I had flowers and balloons, and it was from this guy named George. And I show up, and there's a woman at the desk, and I say, she goes, "Oh, how can I help you?" And I said, I have a delivery for Sally. And she gets on the mic, whatever it is, and says, "Sally, you have flowers and balloons here from Stanley." I'm like, "That's not George." I already know that George is screwed, that this is done. It's not going to work. So she comes out, and I'm like, "I have these balloons and flowers from you, from George." Her face changes. She's like, I was like, "I have to give them to somebody or else I can't get paid." And she's like, so we give the flowers to the receptionist, and we give the candy to other people, and then she walks away, and I was like, "George, sorry, buddy." There was another time I went to a small house out in the suburbs that was sort of located in the woods. It was kind of like a trailer home, and I went to make the delivery, and it was a woman with 3 kids, and the 3 kids were running around and just being kid-like. And I became very aware that as I'm delivering the singing telegram, that he and her have been separated, and he is using this telegram to ask her to take him back. And she's like, "Do you know how busy I am with these kids?" I said, "I can see that, ma'am. I just have to deliver the telegram. I can sing to your kids if you don't want me to sing to you." So I also knew that that one probably wasn't going to work. Probably my most favorite one of all is one time I was out in the northwest suburbs and my car broke down. That's not the favorite part. My car broke down, and I had a choice to do 2 deliveries because a friend of mine was coming from Chicago to pick me up to do the deliveries, but we could only do one. And I chose the one for a couple that was celebrating their 50th anniversary. And because I was like, that young woman will have another birthday, they won't have another 50th anniversary. So I go there, and the house is full of people. And I show up in the tuxedo with the balloons, and they usher me into the main living room, and there's the man sitting in a wheelchair, oxygen in his nose, his eyes closed. His wife is sitting next to him, holding his hand. And I look at the guy, I do this, he's asleep. I do it. I go, "Hello, I got a singing telegram for you." He wakes up. And he starts smiling. He looks at the balloons, and he's thrilled with them. And I sing to them for their 50th anniversary. And I give him the balloons, and they're holding hands the whole time. And he's smiling, and she's smiling. And I knew I made the right choice between the 2. I knew that choosing this 50th anniversary was the one to do. I got a call from the company about a week or 2 later. They told me that the people who bought the telegram wanted to talk to me. I thought, did I fuck up? What did I do? And they're like, "We would like you to come to the house." I'm like, "Oh man, I must have fucked up." So I come to the house, and the kids are there, and the wife is there. And they tell me that he passed away. And that he'd been mainly unconscious leading up to those couple of days. They weren't even sure if they could do the party for him and them and her. And that when I came in with the balloons and that energy, he came up and woke up. And that was sort of his last moment of cognizance, being aware who he was, and that it was his 50th anniversary with the woman that he loved so much. Right? It was amazing. They offered me a tip of $50, and I turned it down. Because it really was an honor to be able to do that. And I had been in therapy for about a year or 2 before that. And I walked out of there and I cried. And it made me realize just as much as how good therapy was, because I could feel. And I could be present for something like that. And I thought about the love that existed between those two people in those 50 years. And coming back for a moment just to say hi and I love you. And I really believe that when love matches love, love really does conquer all. Thank you.
Draw back your bow and watch